whenever I'm asked to speak Kiddush Torah, I always say it's a special schus to be here, to be able to say a few words of Torah. The Rebbe wanted that we should come together, especially in the yeshivas, to learn Torah, to hear Torah, especially at Zahachana, to Matan Torah. It's the appropriate thing. Shus the Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Bernard, Yushavina, Manal, Blau, Chashon Manal, all the staff. I'd like to say, Rabbi Blau mentioned that I said this share of many years, but every time you go through it again, there's another word that comes up. So I'd like to share this thought. The Rebbe asked a question. What is the chiddush of Matan Torah? You know that Matan Torah, the day that Abishah gave the Torah to the Eden. The question that I asked is the obvious, who mekayim Kallah Torah kol achal nidno. Avrohom was mekayim the whole Torah, Yitzchak, Yarchei, there was yeshivas, Shem Ve'ever, and then in Mitzrayim, there was a yeshiva there, Shevet Levi learned Torah. So what was the chiddush of Matan Torah? So perhaps the Gemara, Kiddushin, the Chovevei says, Godla mitzvah v'oisem, and Misha eini mitzvah v'oisem. That before if someone is not commanded to do something, it's not as great as someone who has a tzibur, he has a command and he does it. It means it's greater when you have a tzibur and you do it. Why is it greater when you have a tzibur? So Tosfos in Kiddushin writes that when you have a tzibur, when you're commanded to do something, you're doing mitzvah, you're worried that maybe you won't do it, you have tsar. It's a pressure. If you don't have a tzibur, so it's more relaxed. If I do it, I do it. If I don't do it, I don't do it. It's like the Tosfos says a mashal, ain't the doing when Misha yesh pas b'salad, and Misha ain't the pas b'salad. Can't compare someone who has bread in his basket to someone who doesn't have bread in his basket. You have bread, so you don't feel hungry. But if you don't have bread, so you already feel hungry. Someone who doesn't have the tzibui, he doesn't have the lachas, doesn't have the pressure, so therefore he does it. It's not such a great schar that he gets. If you're with Chovevei, you know that at this time you have to do Zman Krishna, then you have to do Zman Tefillah, and then you have to learn, and you have to daven, it's a seder, and you have to, so there's more tzar, there's more daigers, so therefore the schar is greater. So according to Tosfos, it comes out that Matan Torah is taught that the Yidden who with Chovevei, it's a special madrega that with Chovevei, so now they have more schar for doing Torah mitzvahs. The Rebbe explained the Ufta of Matan Torah based on the famous Medrash Rabbah. This is something that everybody knows. I'm trying just to show more details, how the Rebbe explains more details based on this idea. The Rebbe said, as a famous Medrash Rabbah, that the mashal of the people of Syria won't go to Roimi, and the people of Roimi won't go to Syria. It's Xera, and then Xera was bottle, and one country can come to another country. The Rebbe said before Matan Torah, and Matan Torah came with bottle Xera. The English says, "Vani Hamaskel, Vayered Hashem al Har Sinai," and then it says, "Ksiv Moshe Olam, Moshe Olam Alei Elokim." So what is the Nakud of this Medrash? That Matan Torah, before Matan Torah, there was a separation of Elyonim and Tachtonim. And Matan Torah, the Chiddush was that Elyonim Yom Tachtonim and Tachtonim Yom Elyonim. What does it mean? So Rebbe explains that Elyonim refers to Ruchnis, Kedusha, and Tachtonim refers to the Gashmis, to the world, the physical world. Before Matan Torah, there was a separation between Elyonim and Tachtonim. There was a Xera, that the Kedusha and Ruchnis couldn't have a connection to the Gashmis. Matan Torah, the Eibishter was Mevatel Xera, Anochi Hashem Lekecha, the Eibishter himself, Anon Nafshik Sovis V'Avis, and the Eibishter came down to this world and he gave a koyach that we should be able to connect Elyonim Tachtonim, Gashmis and Ruchnis. And the Rebbe explains it, what it means is that the office who mekayim Kallah Torah kula kachla nitno, that there was more beruchnis. All the mitzvahs that he did and all the Torah mitzvahs that he did was beruchnis. It didn't have an effect on the gashmis, on the physical world. There was no Kedusha that penetrated, that connected to this world. Through Matan Torah, the Eibishter gave a koyach that we should be able, through Torah mitzvahs, to bring down the Kedusha into this world. One of the proofs that Rebbe brings is it says that, you know, that after Matan Torah, now if someone, according to Shulchan Aruch, Gemara, if someone has to take a shmua, the Raisa, so you have to do it with the Kitas Tevetz, with the Sefer Torah. Avrohom was fine also, he said to Eliezer, what gave him a shmua? It says, Simno not fatachas yirechi. That he wanted to do the shmua, Rashi says, with the mitzvah of Nila. So the question Rebbe asks is, the it's Heimach and the Chura that Avrohom was Mekayim Kallah Torah Kula Achal Nidno. So why do we use other objects of mitzvahs like we do today? And the Rebbe explains because all the other mitzvahs that Avrohom was Mekayim, there was no Kedusha in the physical Hertz. There's nothing tangible to say that this Hertz is Kedusha. The only mitzvah was mitzvah Smila, that there was a tzivui of command of the Eibishter. Through Matan Torah, the Eibishter gave a tzivui and gave us the koyach that we should be able to take even the cloth, parchment, the gashmas did the cloth, and be able to bring Kedusha into the physical parchment. And we find in Halacha today there's Tashmishi Kedusha, there's different levels, Tashmishi Mitzvah, Tashmishi Kedusha, that the Chayfetz, even after you put on tefillin, it has a Kedusha on it. The Rebbe's explanation also fits in, not only fits in, it's also the concept of Godla Mitzvah V'Eisa, Mishek Mitzvah V'Eisa. Because we Mitzvah V'Eisa, we have the koyach from the Eibush to the Tzivui, so therefore the level of Matan Torah, the Chiddush of Matan Torah is not only, said the Rebbe, the Yachas to the person, like Tosfos, that he gets more star, it also is a change in the world, that the Yachas to the world, that he can make the Gashmis and bring Ruchnis and make it Kedusha. This is the Yisrael of the Rebbe, Chiddush of the Rebbe. So I'm going to share with you today many pratim, details, which the Rebbe in different sichos. We're not going to go through the sichos barucha, that's each sicha individually you have to learn and understand, just to take out the kudah, how we see the Rebbe shows that this chidush, the way the Rebbe explained it in Matan Torah, reflects in many details, in many events that took place in Matan Torah and in Chag HaShavuos. We'll start first with Matan Torah, what happened in Matan Torah. So it says that the koil, the sound of the Eibishter, was heard from all four corners of the world. That means it permeated the whole world. Every part of the world, you heard the Nech Hashem Elokecha. That's the Chibur of the Eibishter, Ruchnis and Gashmis. The Rebbe goes a step further. He says there's a medrash that says on the pasuk Kol Godol V'lo Yosef. I'm saying it just the kids to bring out the Nekuda. Kol Godol V'lo Yosef, there was a great sound in Matan Torah, but the Yosef didn't cease, didn't end. So Pasuk Pshat means the Eibishter's Kol was so great that it didn't stop. The Medrash brings what is V'lo Yosef. One pirush is that the Eibishter's Kol was translated afterwards into 70, the Shemus 70 languages. Another pshat is all the Nevi'im of Snabim on the continuation of the Kol of Matan Torah. The third pshat, the Rebbe says, the Rebbe writes, Kol Godol V'lo Yosef Shaloi Hoya Pasko. There's no echo. The question is obvious. How does it show it's a Kol Godol with no echo? The contrary, the opposite. If the greater the voice, the sound, the greater the echo. So what does it mean? Kol Godol Shaloi Hoya Pasko. Then the Rebbe asks a kasha, which is a very interesting Yisrael, which the Rebbe repeats in many sikhs, brings a droshes haram. The Ovid HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nisa L'Magon. The Eibush doesn't make nisim for no reason. What was the point of making a nest that there shouldn't be a basko? The pashtus, the kernel of the Eibush was so great, standing around the mountain, there should have been a basko, an echo. Why did the Eibush make this miracle that there was no basko, there was no echo? So the Rebbe explains, based on this Nakuda, what was the Chiddush of Matan Torah? Al Yoyni in Yoyni Tachteni. The Eibishter's Gila, the Pust, Godliness, Kedusha, came, Ruchnis came into this world. So the Rebbe says, he came to this world in such an way. Why is there an echo usually? Because when a voice travels, it comes to a wall, it bounces back. As long as it travels, there's no echo. It comes to a wall, it bounces back. The Kallah of the Eibishter penetrated every part of this world, even the physical mountain. Was penetrating the Kedusha of the Eibishter, so therefore, it wasn't a separate miracle that the Eibishter made. That was the Tetzah, that was the outcome of the event of Matan Torah. The Chidush of Matan Torah, says the Rebbe, was the Kedusha came into this world in Gashmi So'ilam. But not only in Gashmi So'ilam, in the outer world, it penetrated the physical world. So therefore, the Teva of Matan Torah was, nature was, there's no basket. So that shows Kallah, how great this Kallah was. It was a special Kallah. The Rebbe brings in Yishalmi. It says in Yishalmi, there was a Zoki, an old man in Gold, who had a stick, Maklish Ramei, he had the staff of Ramei in his hand. The staff taught him Ramei's stick that this Zoki, this old man had, taught up till the Zoki to him. It's Pshat. You look at them, I think, you look at them first, Yishalmi, they try to explain what does it mean, the stick. It's Gula. They have explained because Ramei's Torah penetrated the stick that he had. So in the stick of the Ramei there was Torah that Ramei learned. And this Zoki was able, this old man who had Ramei's makel, Ramei's stick, was able to take out the Torah that was in there, in this makel, and that taught him Torah. Same idea that we see in Matan Torah. So again, the Rebbe explains that once you understand the Chidush of Matan Torah, the event of Matan Torah, so the detail wasn't a separate detail, there was no echo, that was what it saw, was an outcome of the event. Another example, the Rebbe writes in a different Sikha, it says, Avrohom, roim es hakolos, they both saw the sounds. Usually you don't, roim es hanishma, it's a chnes, sound you hear, you don't see. So the Rebbe explains in the Kitzur the same Nakuda. We see physical things, because that's closer to us. We hear something which is more ruchni, more spiritual. Something which is spiritual is further we can't see. You have to hear. In Matan Torah there was a gilui of Alakus. A revelation to Eibishter, came down into this physical world. So what was the Chinas Shmiya? Was Shmiya. Alakus beforehand was far from the eyes of people. Because it was Chinas Richu. It was Chinas Shmiya. We only heard and understood the Eibishter before Matan Torah. But Matan Torah, the revelation of the Eibishter was away from that. It came down to this world. So automatically, it wasn't a nest. That was the Gilui of Matan Torah, Royim that we saw. Now, what we used to hear as a Nishma, something which was Nishma, now it became B'chinas Re'iyah. That was the revelation of Matan Torah. So to go further, in more details, in events or dinim of Matan Torah, the Gemara says, Rebbes this Yesod of the Rebbe, although it's based on the Medrash, the Rebbe's Medayik in the Lashon HaGemara, Diuk Niflo, and the Gemara and the Rashi, in Psachim Daf Samach. Gemara says as follows: Omar Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef said, Rabbi Yosef b'yemed ha'atzarta, Rabbi Yosef in the day of Shavuos, Omar, he said, after the egg tilta, we should prepare a very special meal from a special calf, the third one which is born from the mother, which is very tasty meat. Omar, he said, La ha'yoyma, if not for the day of Shavuos, the Kagari, which was greater this event, Kamo Yosef Ika B'shuka. There would be many Yosefs in the shuk, in the marketplace. What made Rav Yosef unique, special, is because he learned Torah, and therefore he was different than Yosefs who were walking around the streets. So he said, he wants to be Imakar Torah, and thank the Eibishter for this matana, for this gift. So he said, I have to make a special Suda, because if not for this day, I would be like everyone else. Because of the day of Matan Torah, the learned Torahs are different. Rabbi says, it's in a higher level than others, and therefore he made a Suda. So Rebbe asked the question, why should say Ilav Hayoyim of the Gregorian? Say it's not for this day. It wasn't a day. It was a Torah. It should have said Ilav HaTorah. If not for Torah, then Kama Yesu B'Di B'Shulchan. What is the emphasis? Yoimo. Here the Rebbe was medayik the word that he says in many sikhs. There's a special nekuda that happened in Yoimo that day. That day it wasn't only Torah that Torah was given to him. They learned Torah before. It was an eifin that Torah was given that changed the person. Torah was given such an eifin that the ruchnis, the kedusha, can change the physical world and the physical person. So let me read you Rashi. Rashi writes in that Gemara. Ilav hayoma sholomadati Torah v'nisroi mamti. What does nisroi mamti mean? It became elevated. It became hecher. It's not for this day I learned Torah v'nisroi mamti haranoshim harbi b'shuk sheshmon yosef and many yosefs in the shuk and man beini lebino. What does Rashi add? V'nisroi mamti. What is the Nisroi Mamti? Rashi, you know, is Pshuta Yishol, Mikram, Pshuta Yishol Gemara. Where does it say Gemara with Nisroi Mamti? It says, I'm different than all Jesus because of I heard Torah. What is the Nisroi Mamti? So Rebbes says the Nisroi Mamti is the idea of Hayoimo. This day of Shavuos changed Rabbi Yosef. That by learning Torah he became not a person that's learning Torah, but Nisroi Mamti is another Rebbes. It's a different person. So this is the Yisrael of Machir. In Gemara, the Rebbe points out this chidush of Matan Torah. It's high yoima. It's not only Torah, it's a yoima which affected the world, affects people. And when we learn Torah, I heard the quote from Rabbi Metzger. It's like the Zut once said, "Ein beis hamedrash b'lo chidush." So what does it mean, beis hamedrash b'lo chidush? So it says, there's no such thing as a Moshe Shabbos. You come to learn, there has to be a chidush. Is ein beis hamedrash? It's not possible you should go to Beis HaMedrash below Chidush, but the person shouldn't change. Has to be a change. If you come to sit and learn, Torah has to make a change. The same sugya, a little before, the Gemara brings on Shavuos another nikuda. It says, "Hakol moedim ba'atzeres debeino nami lachem." It's machlekes in Gemara. If one has to, it says atzeres Hashem lekecha yom tov. One place it says atzeres tilachem, one place atzeres lekecha. So Rabbi Lezer says yom tov, it's either kulei Hashem or kulei lachem. Either you spend time learning Torah and daven the whole day, or kulei lachem. Enjoy, eat, fabring. Rabbi Yeshua says, Torah says in Yom Tov, Atzeres Hashem Elokecha, Atzeres Tilachem, Chalkei Hertz Hashem, Hertz Lachem. Half a day you just give the Eibishter, you can learn, daven, Chassidus, daven, and half a day Lachem, eat, drink, celebrate the Yom Tov, fabring. So the Gemara says, Omar, Rabbi Lozo, Hakol Moedim Ba'atzeres. When it comes to Shavuos, there's no machlekes. Everybody agrees that the Inon Nami Lachem. You have to eat on Shavuos. Why? My time. Yom Shenit Lachem Torah. It's okay that Torah was given. It's interesting. Kedusha Agodes in Marsha writes, by Shavuos there's no pasuk Atzeres Hashem Elokecha. There's no pasuk Atzeres Tilachem. What would you think without any pasuk? Says Marsha. Shavuos, one would think, is a time to sit and learn the whole day. Torah was given to the Eibishter, and that was its level to sit and learn. And Rashi writes that even though Yom Tov is the end of Simcha, he says you could have a Simcha from learning. From learning Torah, you can have Simcha. Says the Gemara that even one would think that Shavuos is a time when Kulei Hashem, Hakol Moedim, that you have to eat and drink on Shavuos. My time, you should eat about Torah. What is the reason that Torah was given that we have to eat and drink? So Rashi writes, Yismach boy b'machal and mishta, you have to eat, rejoice with eating and drinking. Lahar is to show, shenoyach v'mekubal gengzeh yisrael sh'nei Torah. To show that the day of Shavuos, the Torah was given, is not a burden on you. Loshen Rabbi David, it says that Kedusha Rabbi David Psachim, ve'ena ko'oy al tzavori. It's not like a yoke. Oh, it's difficult. It's hard to learn Torah, hard to fulfill mitzvahs. So you want to show that Torah mitzvahs is a pleasant thing. You have to eat and drink. That's Posh Pshat. The Rebbes the dying from Loshen Gemara, from the Sugya of Gemara, that the Gemara is not only saying that eating shlivi, that you have to eat because if you don't eat, you're showing that Torah is difficult, is a yoke. Loshen Gemara is my time. Why do you have to eat? Because it's Yom Shenitno B'Torah. There's a special mila this day, which is Nitno B'Torah, and there's a positive reason. Not only that if you don't eat, then it looks like you have an oil. Yom Shenitno B'Torah is a reason, because Torah was given, you have to eat. And halacha is Shulchan Aruch. Shavuos is the only Yom Tov you're not allowed to fast, even a tiny scholar. You know, the Shabbos you also have to eat because it says the Parasal Shabbos Einik. Einik means tiny, pleasure. But if someone has a cholim, there's a din of a tiny scholar, yes, the boy wants to fast, the din is in Shabbos, in Hilchos Shabbos, that he's allowed to fast because Shabtainis Einik. For him, the tightness is a pleasure. For eating is going to be difficult for him. Fakert, he wants to fast. Comes to Shavuos, now the Rebbe Paschal is in Shulchan Aruch, that Shavuos one mustn't fast even a tiny scholar. Why? Because the mitzvah not only of oineg, there's a mitzvah of achilo, eating. Shabbos, the thing is oineg. Oineg means geschmack, pleasure. So if you have pleasure in fasting, because you have a tiny scholar, so you're allowed to fast. Shavuos is not only oineg, there's a mitzvah of achilo shtiyah. Rebbe asked a kasha. What is the reason why we have to eat on Shavuos? Rebbe it's not sufficient the reason that Rashi and Rabbi David say, because otherwise you're showing it to you. What's the positive meaning of eating on Shavuos? Torah is ruchnisdik. Torah is eating of seichel. Torah is the Eibishter. It's ruchnis. What does that have to do with eating and drinking? So the Rebbe said, according to what we explained, and according to the same sugya, it is a special ufta of Matan Torah, that the Shavuos, the Eibishter, revealed himself in such a way that Ruchnis came into Gashmis. So how do we show the simcha of Shavuos? We can't show it just in Ruchnis. We have to show the simcha of Shavuos in Gashmis also. There can't be any part of us that doesn't express the idea of Shavuos. Because Shavuos is not only for the Ruchnisdike part of the person, it's also the Gashmisdik of the person. The Gashmisdik of the person is also celebrating the Shavuos, because it affects him also. It's again another clue that the Rebbe explains when they get to Yom Tov Shavuos. Also, there's a Bekitzer, there's a famous Gemara in Shabbos, which I'm sure many of you can learn it, Shabbos Peiches. Moshe came up with the Shemayim to get the Torah, so the Malachim said, what are you invited to do? Disha Beinenu? What is the person doing here? He said, to get the Torah. So he said, no, Kallah Shemayim, give us the Torah. So the Eibishter said to Moshe, you should answer. So Moshe says, you have the Yitzhahara, you answer the Malachim, you have parents, what does it say in Torah? And he went through, Aso Matnish B'nei, you do business. So in Sfarim, explain what is the argument, or what is the kind of halachim that you want the Torah. So halachim in Torah, bar mitzvah. Bar mitzvah means if someone wants to buy a field, so the person who has a field next to it has a precedence. He can take it first, because he's the one who's closer, so the buyer can go somewhere else and buy it. But the person who has a field next to it, he should be the one to buy it first, bar mitzvah, because it says the Apostle, that's the right thing to do. Malachim said to the Eibishter, we are here, Shemayim, so we have a Torah. The Rebbe explains in the Kitzur that Malachim wanted the Ruchnische B'Torah, the Ruchnische B'Torah, the Soiche B'Torah. So we have a din of bar mitzvah. Why are you giving it to people here in this physical world? So what's Moshe Rabbeinu's answer? So Sfarim bring down different dinim in bar mitzvah. I'm not going to go through all the dinim, but one example one prat to say. The din is about extra, that's only if you're selling it. If you're selling the field, then there's a halacha, you have to give it to the one who's the one who's close to the field. But if you're giving a gift to your friend, a relative who lives far away, so the lubavitcher doesn't have a kind of a claim, give it to me, because and tell the person to get somewhere else a field because he's getting a gift. The gift is over here after. A Matan Torah, there's no gather of lubavitcher. So what I'm saying, Torah Matan Torah. It's considered a Matan Torah also. It's not Yerusha, Matan Torah. So therefore there's no halacha of lubavitcher. But the Rebbes says, in the answer of Moshe Rabbeinu to the Malachi, Iker Chasar min HaSefer. Expression in Gemara, in Shenim, Iker Chasar min HaSefer means the main answer is missing from the Sefer. Moshe Rabbeinu is not telling them Matana, he's not telling them different protein barnetzah, he's telling them, do you have parents, do you do business, do you have Yitzhahara? How does the answer to the time of barnetzah? So the Rebbe brings another halacha of barnetzah, but based on the Yisod of Matan Torah. Because it didn't barnetzah that if someone is buying, the buyer who wants to buy this field, it's from far away, he wants to buy the field to build a house. The one who's next to this field, the bar mitzvah, wants to buy this field to be able to plant zroim, to plant tvua, wheat. So when it comes to question, should we give the buyer who wants to buy the field to build bayis, to build a bayis, or the one who wants to have it for zroim, for zriya? The thing is we give it for bayis. Why? Because yishuv adif. That's so. You have to settle the land is more important than planting more tvua. That's halacha b'metzah. Says the Rebbe as follows. What did Malachim want Torah? They wanted Torah to enjoy Torah. Zriya, Torah is to enjoy it. What is Torah given here? The Torah, Matan Torah, was given not just to learn and to enjoy, was to change the world, to make a dira is barak, a dira. To change the physical world, like the Rebbe explained, that's the Yisod of Matan Torah. So that was Moshe Rabbeinu's answer. What do you want the Torah for? You want to enjoy the Torah. But do you have a Yitzhahara, do you have a Masamaton, do you have business? The Kabbalah HaTorah is to come down in this world and change the world, to make it zero. Therefore, we have a preference. So again, that's another sugya of Matan Torah, which is based on the chidush of Matan Torah, which is explained in the Rebbe. Another very practical thing that we do on Shavuos night, we stay up a whole night of Shavuos, we say tikkun, learn. What is the reason we stay up? It's because the people, the Yidden before Matan Torah, went to sleep. So therefore, Mesakim are staying up. So the Rebbe asked the question, Kitzur, why did they go to sleep? They were waiting in Kabbalah Torah to go to sleep the night before. So they explained because it says this morning when you go to sleep, your neshama goes up to Baila, and it's able to be massive, Asagas HaTorah, able to receive secrets of Torah. So they thought that the Achana to Matan Torah is not to go to sleep to have a Shmaka Shlof. It's to be able to learn Torah, the neshamas will be able to receive Giluyim, the Maila. That was their achana. The mistake was, that wasn't the kavanah of Matan Torah. The kavanah of Matan Torah is not to have giluyim in ruchnis, is to bring it down into the gashmis. So the Rebbe says that the achana of Matan Torah is to do it with our guf, not to sleep. We should be up, and we should be able to work with our guf, with our seichel, with our leirach, with our shavah, dibur, maisa. That is the achana of Matan Torah. The Maimer I just saw the Shabbos, it says that we stay up at night, the lailot hayoyim yoyim, to change the lailot to make it like yoyim. Another Nekuda the Rebbe says, also based on this Nekuda, on Chidush of Matan Torah, is the Shavuos three events took place. Matan Torah, David HaMelech, And the Baal Shem Tov. David was passed away on Shavuos, and the Baal Shem Tov. What is the connection of all these three things? So Rebbes explains, what is Matan Torah? To bring down Torah into this world, change the world. What is David HaMelech, Beis HaMikdash? To bring it down in a level, not only in an Eifel which is changing the world that we don't see, but the Beis HaMikdash we saw, the Gilui Elokus, the physical Beis HaMikdash, it was revealed in the Eibishter. What is the Baal Shem Tov? So Rebbe writes, the Baal Shem Tov not only was in Mamshich the Aseres HaDibros, the Galad Aseres HaDibros, it was the Galad Asora Mamoris. The Asora Mamoris Tivnu Ha'olam. The first Perek Yishayichu V'Emunah. The Asora Mamoris Tivnu Ha'olam. Which before the Baal Shem Tov came, the Eibishter created the world. But whoever was thinking that the Dvar HaVayah, the words of the Eibishter, is Mahav and Chaya, Chovevei, every second, this is the key of the world. Comes the Baal Shem Tov, and he reveals the Ruchnis, the Eibishter in this world, not only the Aseres HaDibros Torah, but the Dvar HaVayah, the Asora Mamoris, that is Megala, that this is the key of the world. So the aura of the Rebbes has a beautiful Nekuda. It says in Gemara that Hertz, the world was shaking, fearful, and then it relaxed. Because the Eibishter, it says Yom HaShishi, 6th day of Shavuos, Yom HaShishi. Why say HaShishi? Because it says in Rashi Chumash, the Gemara brings down, it's nine, he's not, because it's brought to Maisa Bereshis. The Eibishter, when he created the world, he made it nine. If they equal the Kallah Torah, the world will exist. If not, Torah will fail. So Eretz Yorah, the world was Yorah, was afraid, will they eat the Kallah Torah, the Shokata? And afterwards, they eat the Kallah Torah, they receive the Torah, the Shokata. The question is, the Tzlach, from Psachim writes, the Loshen, why was the world berifyeh until Matan Torah? Why was it like shaking, on shaky grounds? It wasn't stable. Why? Because Matan Torah, we have to wait for Matan Torah in order to have the Kiyum Ha'olam. The Chura, the obvious kind of Kallah Torah, the learning Torah, was Limud HaTorah before Matan Torah. Why was Matan Torah so important for the existence of the world? That's the Tzlach's kasha. So you look it up, the Tzlach, maybe Yehuda, he writes, here you see the beauty, the God, the Reichkeit of the Rebbe's words. The Tzlach writes, because Tesis says, God HaMetzuvah V'Oiseh. If someone is Metzuvah V'Oiseh, so he has more schar, he has more reward. So, because even after Matan Torah, we're learning Torah to the Metzuvah V'Oiseh, it's a higher madrega of learning Torah, so it's greater schar, and that's the reason why the Kiyum Ha'olam. It's not so clear to understand. Look, Metzuvah V'Oiseh, so therefore you get more reward because you have the daigo, you worry, that should be the reason of Kiyum Ha'olam. So that when the Ha'ara, the Ksicha writes, it's very partial. The Kiyum Ha'olam, existence of the world, had to wait for Matan Torah. But what is Matan Torah? The Chibur of Al-Yom Tachtonim. So the Chibur of Al-Yom Tachtonim means that the Eibishter was V'chaber connected, Kedusha, Ruchnis with Gashmis. That is the key, the cement of the Ha'olam, the Kiyum Ha'olam. So till Matan Torah, the world was still berifyeh. Says the Loshen HaTzlach. Matan Torah created that there is a Kiyum Ha'olam. So again, this is again the Yisrael of the Rebbe, which the Rebbe is not Sheil of what of cases. He's adding, not only Matan Torah changed that we Metzuvah V'Oiseh, that we became the Gachas to the Gavra, that we have a Maila, when we Metzuvah V'Oiseh we get more schar, it's also the Yachas to the Hertz. A lot of the things we spoke is in Sichos of the Rebbe, in the Paris of the Rebbe. Just add a word, maybe a few minutes. The Rebbe also writes that the same Nekuda is in Averis. The Rebbe that after Matan Torah mitzvah brings a Kedusha, and after Matan Torah Averis bring Hekach HaKedusha, changes the Hertz. makes it a dover hamatur. It changes the object. When you do an avera, it becomes a dover hamatur, something which is not, which is a hekach kedusha. In other words, mitzvahs and averas is not only after Matan Torah that the person, the yachas to the person, he is now commanded to do a mitzvah, and is commanded not to do avera. It affects it affects the physical world. When you do a mitzvah, you bring kedusha in this world. When you do averas, you bring hekach kedusha in this world. So yesh leimar, it's also again merubes in the ha'ara, this idea. There's a famous concept of mitzvah haba avera. You can't do a mitzvah and avera at the same time. For example, if you steal a lulav agosim, so it's a get of mitzvah haba avera, right? Because when you shake the lulav, you're doing a mitzvah, but you also steal it. You're using someone else's lulav. It's gzela. You can't do a mitzvah haba avera. The Mechas Chinuch, mitzvah shir chafei, he writes, what's a mitzvah haba avera? The mitzvah is a mitzvah. You did a mitzvah. What's wrong with mitzvah haba avera? So he says, ein kategor nasus anegah. Person can't come to the Eivishter and say, I have a mitzvah, I'm doing a mitzvah. I'm doing a good thing. At the same time, you're doing something the opposite. It's also ein kategor nasus anegah. You can't have someone who is prosecuting you to defend you. Ein kategor nasus anegah. So Mechas Chinuch writes, it's the yachas to the gavra. The person can't do a mitzvah avera. In the Rebbes and the ha'ara, one of the shvuas dikasichas is that if mitzvahs are to be mamshech kedusha in this world, so we do a mitzvah haba avera, you can't be mamshech kedusha in the chayfetz. What's the idea of mitzvah? Not only that you should do a mitzvah. The object has to have a kedusha. That's the kavanah of the mitzvah, that the chayfetz should become a chayfetz of mitzvah. At the same time, you can't do something which is opposite. So the Hertz can't be a mitzvah with an avera at the same time. There'll be an afkamina. Because according to Mechas Chinuch, the mitzvah is a mitzvah. The act of the mitzvah is a mitzvah. The person, the yachas of the person, he can't come to the English and say, here, I did a mitzvah, ki ma mitzvah. But the Maisa mitzvah is a Maisa mitzvah. Mechas Chinuch writes. He gave it to his whole pilpul in Sukkah. When according to the Rebbe, it's the science of Beis Regel there, the Hara, the Kitzur, mitzvah haba avera is not a mitzvah. Because if the mitzvah means to change the Hertz. So if you do an avera at the same time, you can't change the Hertz and bring the kedusha in the Hertz. That's the kavanah of the mitzvah, to not only to affect you, but to affect the object that you're doing it, to bring kedusha at the same time you do an avera. Can't happen. So the Chura Yesh Leimar, based on this idea, this Havana, the Rebbe, of mitzvahs and averas, this also follows in mitzvah haba avera, we can explain a very interesting din in mitzvah haba avera, which is sort of din. There's a din if someone steals a shofar or Rosh Hashanah and blows it, you're yetzer. Lulav, if you steal, you're not yetzer because it's mitzvah haba avera. But shofar, you're yetzer. The mitzvah of shofar is not tkiyah, the mitzvah is shmiya, the sound. In sound, there's no gzela. Ein bekoil in gezer. The Rebbe brings it down in Rosh Hashanah, Simon Tov Kuf Tevah. So if the mitzvah would be blowing the shofar, blowing is a gzela, using someone else's object in gzela. The mitzvah is a sound. The sound is not something you're not touching the sound. There's no idea, there's no gzela in the sound. And therefore, it's not a mitzvah haba avera. So many Achronim, it's a Rebbe, it's a Rambam, a Shami, this did. Try to understand. Sof you need to blow in order to be able to hear the sound. It's part of the Hechshar mitzvah. Without blowing, you can't hear the sound. So the key is a chilek. It's not the ikar mitzvah, because the mitzvah is the shmoya portion, but it's a Hechshar mitzvah. So according to the Rebbe, Avon mitzvah haba avera, here we understand it very clear. The Hertz of a mitzvah is shmiyah. That's what the kavanah of mitzvah is, to change the Hertz. The Hertz is shmiyah, the koil. In the koil there's no avera. There's no avera whatsoever. But according to the Mechas Chinuch's approach, the mitzvah of avera is the yachas to the person. You can't do a mitzvah at the same time do an avera. You're doing a mitzvah, the kiyum mitzvah is shmiyah, but at the same time you're bringing the hechsher to that mitzvah is through an avera. So you have the same shaila, eka teka nasa sadega, how can you do it? Based on the Rebbes muftu, the mitzvahs and averas are not only biyachas laha'adam, it's not only biyachas to the person that he now is moschar. It's to change the chayfetz, to bring kedusha in this world. And averas do the opposite. So with that mitzvah of avera, with the ikar dam, does the Hertz of this mitzvah have an avera or not? Person is doing avera, it's blowing. But in the Hertz of the mitzvah shmiyah, there's no avera. And therefore, there's no mitzvah of avera. Ikar is, as I said, the chiddush of Matan Torah, which the Rebbe reveals, gives a different geschmack, not only in the Yom Tov of Shavuos, but all the sugyas of Shavuos we learn. Each sikha in Yatzma is a limud. As a shliach and a rav in the neighborhood, I meet people. One year I remember I worked with Rosh Hashiva, Mr. Talmud, Rav Tzalberger, Sholem, so I met him on Shavuos, and I told him the sikha, the Baskel, I told him there's a Yerushalmi, there was a makel of Zokin after the go, and he had a stick, and the Hoyim Lamper trainer, I told him over the Vat of the Rebbe. So he tells me, where's the Yerushalmi? I didn't remember the Yerushalmi. So I had to run home, come back and tell the Yerushalmi, because at the end of Shavuos, they also have a kinus, so he was sent over this word. The Chidushim of the Rebbe on Matan Torah is, as we see, that one Akuda explains all the details of Matan Torah. As we know that Matan Torah is also achana to the Indian of, as I said, Matan Torah, David, Hashem Tov, to the Indian of the Mesa Mashiach, Gila Mashiach. What does it say in Mashiach? V'ro, v'nikla k'ved havaya, v'ro kol boso yachtov k'vi Hashem Dibur. So the Apostle of the Torah repeats itself. V'nikla k'ved havaya means there'll be a revelation of the Eibishter. What's the next part of the Apostle? V'ro kol boso k'vi havaya Dibur. Everybody will see k'vi havaya Dibur. So Chassidus explains, v'nikla k'ved havaya be a gila lakus. V'ro kol boso means that the eye, the physical eye, the fleshly eye that we see today, we see a stender, we see a table. The Asid Novay will be able to see Kipi Avaya Dibur. But the Gashmis, the Ruchnis will be one thing that we'll be able to see with our physical eyes, the Eibishter, the Zaychazan, and the Rebbes on the Skalavan, when we should take it to the Yad Mamish, and the Katham we should go to Shift, and so Zayt Bismi Shift at Kegel, and here we made the Amen. And the Rebbe gesagt, Abbas Afeir, the Simcha, the Blis.